We're here today at a home that I worked on in Illinois, and we kind of actually did some of the outdoor landscaping, which I personally feel is as important as interiors in homes. I think it's all about the approach to a house, and it should all read as something that's all conducive. So what we did here, the walkway was already here, but I worked with my landscapers, and I wanted to create somewhat of a little room before you get to the actual entrance to the house. So we kind of put in these boxwoods, did a little planting bed here, for you to kind of take a little pause to take in the whole house as you're walking. So come on, let's go to the front door. I personally like how it has, not that this was intended, but it actually happened after the fact. It almost has the shape of an eye. And I kind of felt like, oh, that's kind of cool, so let's keep that shape. It's kind of the eye watching on the house. So I think that little bit of lawn, kind of, nobody really realizes what it's intended. It was kind of my little thing. Like I was saying, I like to have rooms outside as well. So kind of over into this space, if you were to stand here, you almost feel like you're kind of with walls around you and a little space of greenery from the street, flowers here. The intention was maybe to put a little chair here or just a bench here in the shade. We didn't do that yet. We probably will. The way I dealt with this is the service side of the house, but I didn't want it just to be mulch and kind of nothing. So I put in these steppers just to lead you into a different area of the outside. So basically here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 areas within this front lawn that creates little rooms. So here we go, let's go on inside. Here we are in the entry hall, which is kind of a large space when you think about it. It's almost like 15 feet here in the length. And what I wanted to do here was, I have all this wall, and I thought, gosh, do we fill this with pictures or what? So I have a great muralist, as you can see, and we kind of came up with this whole inspiration of water, to have water and movement here in the entry. I think she did a beautiful, beautiful job. When the house was purchased, it had a typical white balustrade on the staircase. We removed all of that and put more of a classic feel with all the iron balustrades, and then we stained all the newel posts, which are those big squares that you see. We stained those dark, and we stained the handrail dark, even though the wood floor is a little lighter. I just wanted a little contrast here. So then we leave this space and we go into the living room. This room, again, is a little deceiving in that it's very spacious, not so much square foot wise, but the ceilings go up 25 feet. So you can see the span of this space. And I wanted to bring it down so you didn't feel like you were in a mausoleum-y kind of a thing. So we put this humongous chandelier in here to kind of take up some visual space, as well as taking the drapery, rather than going just to the top of the door line, I wanted to take them all the way up. So it was a much more grand view as you enter. Then we needed to do something over the fireplace, because I had this going up 15, 18 feet high. We couldn't just put a small little painting here. So we bought this amazing Gobelin tapestry from Belgium, and to kind of carry the weight from the drapery height. So actually it's hung at the same height as the draperies are, just to kind of create that same line. And although the room isn't that large, we still have seating for 6. And it doesn't feel squished or cramped or anything like that. And I did a leg chair here so that you could see through, with the skirted sofa and the skirted chair. I wanted to balance the piano on the right side of the fireplace to the left side, so we put this beautiful little chest here and hung a painting. Even though we've got 2 pieces here, it works beautifully. And then put some lamps on the piece as well, just to kind of bring the eye and the feeling down for when you're seated in this space. This is the family room, and in this space, we had a lot of things that we had to work around, in that it's all open with all this glass and doors and a staircase going upstairs. So the first thing here was we needed for the client to have a TV in the space. As you can see, the fireplace is kind of high in that it's got an elevated hearth, and to mount a TV up here would be just uncomfortable to view. So we went ahead and put the TV between the patio doors here, which twofold. One, we get it at a right eye level to view, and looking out into the garden with the light and everything, you always want to look into the light for viewing. You don't want to have that light coming in on the television. The other thing here that we did was on this wall, we have a staircase, a secondary staircase leading upstairs. So furniture placement was key here, and I didn't want to have a huge painting like most people do over a sofa, and I wanted to generate some height in the room, so we did this folding screen, this hand-carved folding screen, and then based it with a solid leather sofa for the contrast in color. The nice thing here that we did for the window treatment, I hate to see how blinds, shades operate. I always like to hide them when possible. So we kind of did these custom valances, but then for privacy, we can just drop these shades that we can have complete privacy. And it's kind of nice, this Hunter Douglas product, it acts as a sheer that you can open it so you can still see through. So I think that worked out very, very nice. This is the master bedroom, and I want you to take a look at the ceiling. It's a very big room. However, the ceiling is kind of jumbled up in that there's this soffit, then it goes up to a tray, then it's got a 45, and then flattens out. So I was faced with, how do I make this all read right? So we actually painted the room all one color, ceiling, walls, everything. And if you take a look at this window treatment, which I'm kind of excited about, I kind of took off the ceiling line, all these different angles and everything else. And that's how I ended up doing this whole in and out, up and down kind of a thing. Which, when you enter the room, you see the window treatment and you don't see this ceiling that is all these angles going every which way. So I think it works very well. This is the dining room, and I have to say this is like one of my favorite spaces of the house. The client put a lot of trust in my suggestions here, in that I wanted to bring back flocked wallpaper. So this wallpaper is all custom stamped, and if you were here touching it with me, you could feel that all this is all raised and it's all little sand granules. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And what I wanted to do, rather than paint the ceiling in here, I wanted to use another wallpaper that looked goldish in tones. And the only way you can get this texture, this coloring, is through wallpaper. You can't really achieve it with just, if we were just to go ahead and paint the ceiling, it would not have the glistening features that this does. The window treatments here was another challenge, in that this is actually a bowed window. The difference between a bay window and a bow window goes all the way to the floor. But we had to do a custom bent iron rod, and I wanted to do stationary panels because in this room, the left side of the wall is bigger than the right side. So I wanted to disguise it to center the window, because when the house was built, the window was not centered in this space. So we achieved it by having the stationary panels, and then we've got these shears in the center that can be pushed back and opened for the view out here. Let's go upstairs. This house is actually, it's very interesting, but this particular home has an upstairs family room. Remember we had the downstairs for our first floor family room? We actually have a second one upstairs. Let's go. Come over here and just kind of have a feel for how the house has looked thus far. And then we come into the tribal room. So we wanted to do a little African motif. The client wanted a little African motif. So we did this custom rug that has a zebra print. And we did these window treatments here with kind of faux animal skin. And then we have all these little metal buttons or nail heads, clavos. People use all these same terminology. It's all the same thing. Anyway, so that we did that. We have another big television here. We put granite on this cabinet just to dress it up a little bit more. In this space, really cool, rather than going into the basement, we did a pool table up here instead of going downstairs. And I think it worked out quite well. As you can see, as we walk around here, it's all covered with all these beautiful archways. We actually accented the house color to the white trim just to make it a little more, make these columns basically seem more significant. But I think it's a beautiful place to sit in the shade, a beautiful breeze as we're getting right now, and to look out at this water. But if we go down over here, we needed to, the one big thing is, where's the table? This patio, this covered patio is only like 8 feet. But we have a lot of seating, but no place for a table. So what we did was, down at this end, kind of coming around here, did another little seating area here. And then what we did off of the living room, we opened this all up. We put big limestone steppers to come down to a lower patio. And what I wanted to do was connect not only the covered patio, but also from the living room, so that this was another space. So out here we actually have the one continuous going around under the covering, and then we have this seating area. Where else could you sit or want to sit to have a drink? It's beautiful. So that concludes this home, which actually, by the way, is 6,200 square feet, give or take. So that's it for here, and we'll see you at the next house. Bye for now.
You're doing what on Monday?
Having my braces removed on Monday.
And why is that interesting to the people watching?
I won't have so many S's in my words.
You're just getting rid of all the S's?
Along with the grill. Am I flat tummy?
Stop talking.
So I think it works very well. Very well. Very well. Did I say very well? Very well. Okay, that's it. Shake it off. Shake it off.
All right, we're now recording.
Right now?
Yep.
So then we leave this space and we go into the living room. Oh my God! We should have that in the what's that TV show that does the oops or
the bloopers?
Yeah, the bloopers. Ray, that was hilarious. You're